From the day Emma received the news of her husband's death, she hadn't found a place to be. Robert often went away to solve problems in his small business, which imported unique handmade goods. Sometimes he took Emma with him, turning them into short vacations during which they explored charming small towns and enjoyed quiet dinners, strengthening their bond. But on their last trip, she fell ill and had to stay home. That's when Sophie said to her, "Robert, do you want me not to go anywhere?" Emma asked in surprise, stroking her husband's shoulder affectionately. "You absolutely must go, and I'll stay home and rest. I can't imagine what could have upset my stomach so much, but I have a complete feeling I've been poisoned." "I don't know, my love." Robert spread his hands. "Dinner, you made it yourself, didn't you? And we ate it together. Look, maybe you should call a doctor, in case it's something serious." "Yeah, that's enough. I've taken my medicine, it'll go away. But I can't go on the road, otherwise it will be a fun but very slow journey." Emma laughed and kissed her husband. "Don't worry, dear. I just overcooked something. Lie down. You look pale. Don't see me off. Get well soon. I'll call you later." Emma nodded and snuggled up to her husband. "Only you come back soon. I don't want to let you go anywhere else," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. Mentally she clung to thoughts of his warmth, his familiar scent, and the safety she felt in his arms. A wave of unease swept over her, a strange premonition she couldn't shake off, as if letting him go this time was far more important than before. "Silly girl," Robert smiled. "My cranky little girl. If you only knew how much I love you." "I love you too," Emma replied, and Robert kissed her again before closing the door. Those were his last words. He returned a week later in a zinc coffin. During the time Robert had been away, Emma had tried to call him, but his phone had been disconnected, which worried her greatly. In the past, if Robert didn't pick up, he always called back, but now there was complete silence. Emma didn't know what to do. Neither sleep nor appetite came to her, and the symptoms of the poisoning were not going away. The constant weakness was unbearable. Without touching the food, she threw away all the leftovers in the pot. For several days, she could hardly swallow even a piece of bread, eating only a few breadcrumbs. But she drank plenty of water, for her thirst was unquenchable. Then she received a phone call. Emma could not believe her ears when she heard the words that Robert had passed away. "Who are you?" asked Emma, feeling her throat constrict with excitement. A stern, formal male voice informed her that her husband had drowned while swimming in the lake. "No, that can't be. Robert swims beautifully," exclaimed Emma. That moment turned into a nightmare. She had to go to the lineup, traveling many hours by bus to find this horrible institution. Upon crossing the threshold, Emma nearly fainted. She barely realized who lay before her on the smooth tin table and rushed outside, gasping for fresh air. The unbearable, heavy odor made her sick again and again. Before her eyes stood the man she loved, and who would never return to her. Emma let out a heartbreaking scream and fell into someone's arms. In the days that followed, Emma tried to keep her cool. She didn't cry as she drove home, sitting in the truck carrying the zinc coffin. She didn't cry when talking to the man at the funeral home or receiving condolences from family and friends. But when clods of earth clattered against the tin, Emma sobbed, tears flowing uncontrollably. "It's all over now," her mind raced. At the grave, someone lifted her up. Emma turned and saw an unfamiliar bearded face. She stared at it, trying to remember who it was, but couldn't. The man, homeless and unkempt, silently held something out to her. "What is it?" Emma whispered. "Whispered Emma. Whispered Emma." The stranger nodded approvingly. She unfolded the paper. "You buried another man. Alex was good, and your Robert is alive. I can prove it. He has another family, and he's been lying to you all this time." Emma turned to face the man, but he was already far from the grave. She clutched the paper in her hand, her thoughts racing. Her nerves gave way, and she screamed, choking back sobs. When she came to, she was at home, lying under a blanket on the couch. Her friend Megan was sitting next to her. "You scared us," Megan said. "How are you feeling?" "Where's the note?" asked Emma frantically. She searched through her clothes but couldn't find it. "What note?" asked Megan, confused. "At the cemetery, someone gave me a crumpled piece of paper. I need it." "Wait," said Megan. "I picked something up and put it in your bag." Emma found the note and handed it to Megan, who read it and gasped. "This can't be true. Someone is trying to trick you," Megan insisted, but Emma couldn't let it go unchallenged. The next day, she went to the address on the note, but didn't dare ring the doorbell. Instead, she crouched in the corner of the yard, and her heart raced. She saw Robert come out of the house with a little girl in his arms. Behind him walked a pregnant woman, holding the hand of a boy. Emma froze before she called out to him. "Robert." He stopped in place, looking at her shocked. The woman beside him looked at Emma hostilely. "Who is she?" the woman demanded. She's an acquaintance," Robert stammered. "Familiar." Emma laughed nervously. "I'm his wife." "No, I'm his wife," the woman objected, gesturing to her children. "And as you can see, we're expecting another." Robert sighed. "I'm sorry about that. I'm married to her, but I love you. You've been my light, Emma." He tried to explain, but Emma interrupted him. "Who did I bury?" "A stranger," Robert admitted. "I was scared. I didn't know how to end our relationship with you." Emma turned and saw the bearded man again. He was holding the ginger kitten she had fed earlier. "Your husband lied to you," the man said. Emma turned around, but Robert was gone. Months later, Emma found happiness with the man who had revealed the truth to her. She hugged Megan, grateful for her support as life finally began to heal her wounds.